What's up, guys? It's Red Devil Ace, and welcome back to another reaction video. Uh, there's been a lot of stuff going on recently. Like, there's the reveal for Street Fighter Duel, which I'm not even gonna react to that because A, I don't like mobile games, and B, it didn't really look that interesting to me. And plus, it was only like 30 seconds long. But um, DC Studios released their first chapter for their long-awaited DCU. So basically, a little backstory or a little thing about me. I may love anime a bit too much, but I was always an avid comics fan. But more specifically, I was a bit more of a DC fan more than I was a Marvel fan, to be honest. Like the stories I think are much more, I guess, much more clean, a lot more detailed, and plus, I like grittier stories. Like Marvel is cool because it has cool characters, cool dynamics, but at least in the stories that DC Comics makes, there's more weight to them. There's more risk associated with what the characters do, and like living with the consequences, you can feel their pain in some sort of weird way, which is always somewhat fascinating to me because I really love good storytelling, and DC Comics has that to a T. Like I enjoyed them, A Death in the Family, Batman and the White Knight, the Dark Knight's Metal series, Deceased, the Injustice storyline was wacky as all hell. Uh, and I'm currently reading Red Hood Outlaw, which I am thoroughly enjoying because I think I've said before on a previous video that Red Hood is my most favorite DC Comics character. But with a guy like James Gunn up in the front, I don't want to set my I kind of don't want to set my expectations too high. Concerning what DC Comics or DC Studios have done in the past, like screwing over like not using Henry Cavill enough or stuff like that, and just mostly focusing on Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and a bit of Aquaman as well. I kind of want to see some diversity this time around. Like um, uh, James Gunn is a type of guy that he wants to bring obscure characters into the limelight, and it actually works. They seem interesting. They make you want to read their source material, which is an amazing thing for any comics franchise. So when it comes to DC movies, I kind of have to say, like, I'm not saying this because James Gunn directed it, but I think Suicide Squad is one of my most favorite because it's just freaking wacky, insane, over the top, and it's pretty funny actually. And the violence is always great because who doesn't love humans that get cut up and then just blood spews out them like a city center fountain. And then I also have to say Watchmen would be one I'm most favorite because I just like dark stuff in general. So I'm just hoping like new characters that we haven't seen in the DCU at all. But I can go on and on, but I'll let James Gunn speak for himself, and we're gonna be getting into this in three, two, one.
Hey, everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co CEO of DC Studios.
Thank
So, as
God.
many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the
Really?
characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds.
Okay, I do like that because at least they're acknowledging that they actually want to keep it centered, not just in films. So that's actually pretty freaking cool. That's what Disney Plus is starting to play with, making these spin-off shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Moon Knight, like bringing in new actors and new characters into their universe and just making them part of the whole big deal. But at least DC is, you know, saying they want to take it a step further with animation shows and video games in the DCU. So that's kind of not worrying, but I mean, I could be wrong. Things can definitely backfire when it comes to making their own universe. I mean, that's what Sony did. But I mean, with the talented people behind the scenes, I kind of, I can have some hope in my soul.
outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to
The Flash finished production? Like, I could have swore that freaking Ezra Miller has been freaking reaming this film's asshole for the longest time because that asshole could not get out of trouble. So the fact that they finished production, apparently, and James Gunn has seen the movie and he says that he loves it. I don't know how to feel about that because my perception of Ezra Miller changed, and a lot of people say, "Oh, replace him as the Flash" and all this other stuff. It's kind of interesting to think about that. Ezra Miller can do just one last hurrah before DC just boots him out of there.
move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So,
okay,
Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film,
8 to 10 years?
and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos
I bet that's
an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis.
Oh, shit.
Viola
if anyone
Davis is
remembers
team up
Suicide
with
Squad.
members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay. Next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU.
Right,
this is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025.
At least
the
a
next
Superman
thing
movie
is
is
a
called
big
Superman,
HBO
not Man of Steel or
television
anything like
series
that.
called Lanterns. This is a story of a...
No freaking way! Oh my god, they're finally doing it. They're finally getting the franchise away from that shit fiesta of a movie that Ryan Reynolds was in. Oh, thank you. Thank you, James Gunn. Finally. Okay. If anyone doesn't remember or as anyone's forgotten, the Green Lantern franchise was almost ruined to all living shit because of that horrible movie. So... the fact that they're bringing back the Green Lanterns, I mean, they kind of had a small cameo in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but, I mean, I'm all for it, and it seems like there's some interesting stuff going on with the characters, but I'll let James Gunn explain.
A couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our...
So it's a crime drama with lanterns? Okay, now, that's one of the most wackiest ideas I've ever heard of in my life. But then comes to show, why is John Stewart a Yellow Lantern? Because in everything I remember about this character, he was never a Yellow Lantern. I mean, they kind of... derived that in Injustice, like the way he turns on the good heroes to help out Hal, but I don't think he's ever worn a Yellow Lantern ring. And if they are bringing in new lanterns into the fold, please bring in lanterns Kyle Rayner and Guy Gardner. They will make an excellent addition to that show. I just know it.
larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a
Really?
passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters. We
I
are
have
now
never
bringing
seen
into
these
the
guys.
DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a
Great.
very different
It's just
look
DC's
at
The Boys.
superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story
Oh.
of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost
So
like
we're gonna have,
Game
like,
of
a
Thrones
war
with Westeros,
going on in
but with all of the
Themyscira?
inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the
Really?
DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of
Holy
Batman
shit,
and his
they're bringing
actual
in Damian.
son, Damian Wayne.
Oh
This
my-
is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne
Okay,
is my
now I
favorite
can't wait
Robin.
to fucking
He's
see
a
this, 'cause
little
I love the Bat
assassin
family.
who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU.
Oh,
Next
finally!
up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one
Oh
of comics' really
my
popular cult
God.
heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people
This
will
is
love
like
him.
the
It is basically the
Shang-Chi, Moon Knight
superhero
level
story
of DC.
of imposter syndrome on
I
an
gotta
HBO
say.
Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that
haven't
into
read
a
that one.
big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is
Jesus.
a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents. Whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded
Jesus.
character.
Yeah,
and that brings
definitely.
me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk
So,
about. A
they're rebooting
very
Swamp
dark
Thing?
horror story in the origins
'Cause didn't Swamp
of
Thing have a
the
show or
monster
something?
who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC
Oh, there's
characters since I was
more.
a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us.
Thank
And I want to
you.
be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I
mean,
can't
it's
wait
all
to start
good
to
news,
dive into these
actually.
stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
All right, so that's our sneak peek at chapter 1. The chapter is not over yet, but we did get some pretty cool stuff. So we got a crime drama with lanterns. So that's pretty wacky. I'm actually pretty excited about that. The Authority is like I think we're like C to low B level characters because I've never heard of those guys in my life. But they actually look pretty cool. I mean, they have an interesting character dynamic. Like, they think the world is broken and all that other stuff. Superman Legacy, finally a movie that has Superman in the title, a solo film, because I'm not counting Batman v Superman. That's going to be interesting. And The Brave and the Bold is going to be the start of the Bat family, and I really can't wait to see who they cast as Nightwing, Red Hood, and Red Robin. If I can be cast as Red Hood, that will be a dream come true, but it's probably not going to happen. But above everything else, everything looks pretty good. I mean, with writers and directors like James Gunn behind the scenes, I can pretty much expect these are going to be an awesome shows and films. So everything in DC Studios is looking pretty good. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Share it with all your friends and family. Each one really helps. It always makes my day. I'll probably react to the Atomic Heart showcase because I've been looking forward to that game a lot. It's basically like Russian Wolfenstein. But if I can just record that before I go to work, that will be the ultimate thing ever. So, like I always say, keep the blood flowing and the heart pumping. My name is Red Devil Ace, and I'll see you all next time.